Hi there, and welcome to this tutorial where we are going to have a look at how we can use the bullet physics solver and use that for animating text. We're going to rebuild this clip from scratch, and without further ado, let's get started. So a fresh, clean project, double click, and we're going to implement the bullet solver. Already includes two actors. If you have a look at here, the kinematic state for this one is a finite mass, so it's dynamic, so it's going to react to, in this example, to gravity. This one is infinite mass, so this one is static, so whatever kind of gravity or force is going to be applied within this bullet solver, this actor is going to stay static. If you have a look at the bullet solver component itself, you see this gravitational acceleration. And this is based on the gravity, how we experience this on Earth. So if I press start, you see that this actor is falling down. If you initialize all of them, you can start over again. We're not going to use these, so I'm going to reset this one. 0, rotation 0. Going inside, delete the doors. Same, I think I'm just going to leave the actor for now. Let's see, we'll just start with a text sop. Let's start with the letter A, just for example's sake. Nice fat font, Arial black, always within my preference. So if we, let's see, general, update collision shape and initialize. Oh wait, I have to put the render flag on, this one and this one. Initialize pulse. Let's have a look how it's looking. It's a bit flat, so this is going to give a bit of a problem with collision shapes. So we inside and we'll give this text a little bit of depth. So this extrude switch, just put it on. And this was probably thick enough. Up a level again. If you get this mark, then there's probably something with the collision shape. If you pulse this update collision shape, then you see that the collisions around it are updated. So now if we have a look at the bullet solver itself, you see that this character is in between. Oh. So we're going to put it a bit further up. There it is. Initialize, start. See that it's, well, it's working. But it's not very flashy. So let's see how we can change that. Well, let's set up a render section first. So render top and the camera. So this render is looking at the bullet solver. That's correct. Camera. Put this one in orthographic. I'm not going to use perspective in this one. The ortho width slightly higher. I'll leave it at this one for now. Let's see. I'm going to give the actor, the dynamic one, material. Just give it a constant one, so it shows up fully white. Let's see, initialize, start. Still not very flashy, but we'll get to that. So if you would like to have a sentence or one word dropping down, then you might say, well, if we just put a word in here, so word, that's an option, but the problem is that if you would like to have the collisions wrapped around all the characters, let's see, now it's just one fully shape which is colliding entirely. And that's not what we want. We want that every character has a separate collision shape. So what we have to do is that we have to split every character into a different actor. And that can be a bit cumbersome to do that by hand, but so we are going to use a replicator for this. And this is a technique I use a lot. The replicator is looking at a table, and based on the table and the data that's inside of it, it's going to replicate a master component. And in this situation, that's going to be the actor 1. I'm going to call this one actor 0, because I would like to have, I'm going to use the parent digit's name to look up the table, and 0 is always the first row or column. So I'm calling this one 0. Set this one aside. Well, let's make some input first. This field. Well, we just type in the text we used in the animation. Tumble dry low. So there it pops up, but I would like to have these characters split into different rows from up to down. I'm going to use the script you might have seen in the earlier Kinetic Typography series. Let's see, text, call this one script. I'm going to fill in a new variable. Let's see, my text is a string, and the string is hidden inside operator null to cell 1 0 0 column 1 row 1. Let's see, close this one. And now I'm going to iterate through this string. And for every character I would like to append a new table with a new row per character. So a new table. Always clear this table first. So op table 1 clear. If you're going to change your sentence, then it's just going to stack up, and I would like to have that it's starting with a clear table. So clear, and now for I in my text append row, let's see, table 1 append row I. So fingers crossed, if I run this one, that's exactly what we need. Every character an own dedicated row. I would like to have this button run the script, so I'm going to make this one momentary. Going inside, use a chop execute. Let's see, from on to off, up 1 level, script, run. Make sure you switch this one on, out. Yeah, that should be it. If I run this one, test button, yeah, cool. Tumble dry low. Okay, close this with a null. So now I would like to have this replicator to look at this null 3. So the replication method is by table. The table we're looking at is null 3. Row index, ignore first row, no. Off, operator prefix, that's basically how the next replicated container is going to start with. And then we're just going to use actor. And the master operator is actor 0. So you see now there are a bunch of replicators or a bunch of containers replicated. Let's see, where is the main one? See if I set this one aside. Yeah, need this 0. Put it in here. This is your master. Push this back a little bit. Okay. So this is our static actor. I think I'm just going to call this one static actor. So now we miss one. If you replicate this again, yeah, now that 2 is there as well. Yeah. Okay. If you go inside these actors, you see that it's basically replicating this actor all over again. And we would like to have one dedicated actor per character. So what I'm going to do is going to inside, and I'm going to put a script here in the text. That's basically looking at the table. Let's see, op null 3, I guess, I'm not sure. Yeah, null 3. And we're going to use the parent digit, because for every actor it has a different digit. So the actor 0 is going to look at row 0, actor 1 at row 1, so it's basically going through the entire table and going to fill in all the characters it needs. So parent dot digits, and the first column, fingers crossed, no, probably needs to be a string, so put it in between a string. No, still no luck. Parent digits. Oh yeah, of course, this null 3 is 1 level up, so 1 level up. And there's a T. So if we re-replicate all of these, you see that I think I'm going to switch off the gravity. Let's see. Oh. This is the U, M, B, etc. So that's done. What's next? Well, let's have a look how these characters are positioned into the render. Well, they're all overlaid on top of each other, so we're going to have a look at the transform of these actors. Let's see, I'm going to put this one to 0 again, because I'm going to transform it on sub level. Let's see, I'm going to put a transform in here. I'm basically trying to make a alignment system. And what I would like to do is that the character is looking at the maximum position in width of the character before. So if you take a look at this T, the end, the most widened point on this geometry is somewhere up here. And I can extract that quite easily by using a sop to chop. Let's see, sop to, let's see, put a null in here. Probably only going to need the tx value, so set this one to custom attribute scope, capital P 0. Turn this one off, rename tx. I'm just going to put the y in there as well. P1 ty. Okay. Analyze this one and say maximum. Let's see. You basically get the maximum value of tx and ty. And we're going to start with tx. So you see that is 0.5556. It's probably somewhere up here, and that's where we are going to position the new character at. And we might space it a little bit in between further, but we'll just probably going to make an additional parameter for that. So close this one with a null. I'm going up one level and I'm going to recreate all operators. So it's getting updated with these new components in here. And I'm going to the second operator, that's the actor 1. Make sure that if you make any changes here and you recreate all, it's going to recreate based on the actor 0. So you will lose everything you've worked in here. But I'll show you in a minute why I'm currently working in this actor 1. Because I'm going to extract the data from the character before this one and use that data to position this character next to it. So what I'm going to use is a select. And this is where it gets interesting. I would like to extract this null 2 from the character before. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to decrease the parent's digit by 1. So I'm currently in actor 1, decrease it with 1, actor 0. So let's go into expression mode first. Let's see, we're going to start with a string up a level actor. And now we're going to append the digit from the character before this one. So that's going to be actor 0. So plus string parent digits minus 1. Let's see if that's already working. No. I've got this parentheses, yeah. So actor 0, okay, so that's working. And we'll add another string plus quotation. Let's see, it's a null 2, I guess. So slash null 2 quotation. Okay, so you see that now it's looking at the actor 0. Let's check 55954. Yeah, that's correct. So, okay. Close this with a null. I think we're just going to put it in here. We'll just start with the X because we'll just leave it on one row for now. So drag this one in the TX. So, and it steps aside. So what I'm now going to do, I'm just going to copy all of this, up a level, going to actor 0, delete all this stuff, paste it, up one level, recreate all. You see that it's, for some of the characters it's working correctly, but for some of them not. And there are a couple of reasons why this happens. The first thing is that this actor 0 gives an error because there is no actor -1. It doesn't exist, but I have to keep this in here, otherwise, because the other actors gets replicated by the actor 0. So I have to leave this in. But what I can do is that I can put an if statement in here. Let's see, I'm just going to use a constant for this. If this parent actor has a 0 digit in it, then it has to do something else. So we can just duplicate this one and delete this. So it's just going to stay at 0 anyway, because this is the first character. Insert a switch. We can fill in an if statement here. Let's see, just call this one switch. I'm basically making a logic job with an if statement inside a constant job, and so I'm going to use if, no, 0 if parent digits equals 0 else 1. Okay, connect this one. Let's see if it's actually working. So going up level, recreate all, just pick another one. So this one is on, this one is off. So that's correct, because this actor has a 0 in its parent name. So I'm just going to drag this in here. I think I have to switch these. So now it's looking at, I'm noticing that my dotted lines are gone. Probably have pressed X somewhere. Yeah, so just press X and they're back. Okay, so these are connected. This is one input 0, so that's this one, so that's correct. Replicate. So these are all updated. So these are looking at this one. I think it's a bit distracting. I think I'm just going to switch these, yes. All, recreate all. So they're now all updated. So let's see how this looks. Still crap. Okay. So there's another problem. This actor is looking at actor 6, but actor 6 doesn't have a character. So what I would like to do, if the character before doesn't have a character, then it has to look at the actor before that one. So in this situation, it has to look at actor 5 instead of actor 6. So we're probably going to need another if statement. So I'm just going to go into actor 7. Make sure you don't update because you lose everything, because it's going to look at actor 0. So I'm going to copy this select, and I'm just going to fill in -2 instead of -1. So now let's see, 4.66. Have a look at actor 5, 4.66. Yeah, okay, so correct in here. So we might need a switch in here as well. So switch. Just connect this one in here. So now we need another logic to drive this switch. And what we can do is we can use a constant again. And we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're just going to pull this one switch again into expression mode. Let's see, 0 if. And we need something that tells us that the character before doesn't have a character included. So what we can do is if we just have a look at this sub to 1, because if there's no character, then this one is empty. So what we can check if, let's see, it's not going to look at the sub to 1 because that is the current one. It's going to look at the one before. So the select one. So if op select 1, the num samples equals 0. So 0 if op select 1 includes no samples, else 1. So in this situation, the select num samples has nothing in it. Well, actually that is not quite correct because it looks black, but there is just one sample in here. So it needs something different. So I'm going to look at the channels. Let's see if that works. Chance. Yeah, that's more like it. So this switch again, we'll just drag it over in here to the index. And let's see, do we have it set up correctly? Now we have to switch these because it has to look at the one further back, and that's this one, not this one. So I'm going to switch these. You see that there happens something immediately. Make sure that you select all this stuff, copy it, and go to your master operator. Delete this, paste it up one level, recreate all, and you see that the red signs are gone instead of here, but that's not a big deal. Let's have a look at our render. It's looking more like it. Let's see if we use the camera. I think I'm going to let the camera at its position, and I'm going to move this first character. I think I'm going to put in a couple of variables to make it a bit more dynamic. Let's see, X position, just do the Y as well, Y position, okay. Inside, let's see, we have to look at the first one. I think I'll split my window for a second. Close it with a null. Drag this one to the X position. We'll just use the Y as well. Okay. So probably, if I'm going to the render section, I'm going to drag this slider. Yeah, you see that it's moving, so like that. Well, let's have a look if this collision is actually working now. So let's see, initialize all. Where is the static actor? It somehow got deleted, not sure why, but that's not a big deal. We're just going to pick another actor. Static actor. Let's see, set this one to static. Inside. Let's see, there's nothing in there. We'll just use a box. Close it with a null, set the render flags and the display flag on, and there it pops up. Let's see, put this one a little bit lower. Going to make it a bit wider as well. Transform. Scale. Okay. Collision shape out of date, but if we just initialize this, then it gets updated already. I think we can press start now. You see that it's falling down. Initialize, start. The thing is that you see that this character is also falling backwards, so it's basically also falling in the Z direction. And that's something, yeah, you might like, but in this situation, in the animation where we started with, it doesn't fall back. So if you put this one to 2D, press start again, yeah, now it's not falling backwards. Okay. So that is working now, okay. The thing is that I would like to have a space in between, well, where there actually used to be a space, but it's now gone because of the way we've set this replicator situation up. And we're just going to look in one of the actors which has an empty character in it. The thing that happens here, if we go to the character next to the empty one, is that it's now looking at the position of this one. So it basically overrides this empty space. So what we need to do, that if this one is looking at actor 5, it has to add a space in between. So what we can do, if we just put a math in here, so this is working with the if statement. Yes. So set this one aside, put a math in here. Let's see, math. I'm going to do something in the post add. So yeah, see that now we're adding a space. I would like to have this one dynamic. So up one level. I'm just going to add another one. We call this one space. So to the actor and drag this space in here. So now if we use this slider, you see that it's moving. We were working in actor 7, so before recreating, copy all this stuff, copy, delete this one, paste it. Up one level, replicator, recreate all operators. Okay. Let's have a look at the render. Let's change something here. Somehow not working anymore. I didn't put it in there, so yeah, that's immediately an example why I messed up something and then the changes I've made were overwritten. So let's see this first actor. This actor 0 is looking at the first transform. Drag it in here. And the Y as well. So let's see, recreate all, up level. So there it is again. So now if we, I think I'm going to just split my window and have a look at this operator. It's a bit annoying. Let's see, right mouse button, display backdrop tops off, and just put this one to top viewer. Okay, that's better. So if we, drag this space slider, yeah, now you see that it's basically controlling the space in between the words. So that's working. Okay, what else? Is the Y working as well actually? Yes, only moving the T. Yeah, then we have to put the Y in here as well. Let's see, so this is the other one. Going to get a bit small here with working on one screen. Let's see the Y. I'm in actor 0, yeah. Paste it. So now if we recreate this, change the Y position, yeah, now this is one is working as well. Okay. We can put in a different parameter for controlling the font size. So I'm just going to call this one font size. Let's see how big is it. 1. Okay. So leave it at 1 for now. So set this one to 1. And drag this one in here. Yes. So now, if we recreate all components, so now we can control the font size as well. Well, okay. I think this is basically the setup for the replicator section. So now we're going to have a look at the render section. I'm going to switch off this background top display as well. Let's see, is it all still working? Initialize start, yes. Okay, first things first, I'm going to make this one squarish, so 1280 by 1280. Going to pick a rectangle in here. I'm going to use an over. Let's see, I'm going to make the size 1 by 1, so it's basically filled up. let's see, the fill alpha 0 and the border width a bit higher, give it a different color, border color, white. Okay, let's see, I'm just going to have to change the resolution as well, so I think I'm just going to have a look at the parent. Parent bar W parent bar.h. So this is the on project level, so I'm going to have to change this one to 1280 by 1280. Let's see, should have filled it in here in the first place. So bar W parent bar.h. Okay, so now it's more dynamic. Okay, put this one in here. The thing with working with a bullet solver in combination with a render is that you can use the bullet solver to look at every actor, so also the static ones, but you can have the render setting for looking only at the dynamics ones. So in this sense, I'm just going to remove this asterisk and we're just putting in bsolver1 / actor asterisk slash. I think it's already working. Yeah. So now it's still colliding on render level, but it doesn't show up. So that's starting to look like the animation where we've started with. I think I'm going to make the font size a bit smaller. Move it. Okay. I've also had a circle in here. So I'm just going to insert another over. Take a circle. Need the same resolution. So parent bar W, parent bar H. Okay. Set the fill alpha to 0. Increase the border width. Give it a white color as well. Make it slightly bigger. Oh. Yeah, this will work for now. Okay, but if I'm now playing the bullet solver, it doesn't make sense, doesn't collide with this top images. That's what we would like to have, so we have to make a collision shape based on this circle. So I'm going back to the bullet solver, to the static actor. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this box in a circle shape. So first, I think I'm going to delete the transform first. Let's see where it is positioned at. 0, 0. I'll put it somewhere aside. Center minus 0.5 perhaps. Make it a bit smaller. Like that. I think I'm going to -1. It's a bit of trial and error, but we'll see where it ends up. I'm going to use a copy SOP. Let's see. So I would like to have this box copied a bunch of times. And if we have a look at a circle SOP, you see that the divisions here is set at 40, and that looks fine by me. So if we take 360, just taking a constant just for calculation purposes, 360 divided by 40, then every instance of this box, every copy has to rotate 9 degrees, and after 40 times it's going to be back at the position where it started. So if we fill in 40, now it's just basically 40 boxes laying on top of each other. If we set the rotation in the Z to 9, so you see that it's now forming a circle. I don't think it's necessary to make this box in this form. No, I think this is already working fine. Let's have a look. Geometry looks okay. And now I would like to have a look at how it's showing up in the render. So now I'm probably going to use the static actor as well, just for lining up. Be solver 1/static actor. Yeah, there it is. So it's way too small. You can have a look how it's reacting. It's reacting okay, but it has to be way bigger. So I'm just going to have a look at this render and increasing the position of this box. So the center has to be somewhere up here. The box has to be bigger. Let's see, put this one to 0.2. Just resize until it's solid. Okay. Put it up a little. Let's see. Now I'm not, you see if I'm moving this in sub level, the copy is not corresponding correctly anymore, so I'm just going to put a transform after it. And if I change this one, yeah, it's starting to look okay. Make this one slightly wider, just that it's seeing a little bit of the white circle in the back. Still has to be a little bit bigger. Yeah, I think that will do. Okay, so back to the bullet solver. Initialize to update all the collision shapes. Press start. And you see that is dropping along with it, and that's probably because this box isn't thick enough. So initialize. Have a look at the static actor. I think if we just increase the Z, yeah, I think this will already work. Initialize, start. See that there's a bit of a weird reaction. That's probably because of the collision shape. So let's have a look how it's set up, general collision shape, convex. I think I have to set this one to concave. Update, initialize, start. Yeah, that's more like it. Okay, cool. So now we can remove. Well, I'm just going to leave it in here for now because we're not done yet with the top section, because we had that little dot in between. So, insert another over. Circle. Give it the correct resolution, bar W, parent, bar.h. In here. It's way too big. So now we need a second collision in here. So we're going to the bullet solver again, to the static actor. I'm just going to copy this one and make it a bit smaller. So insert, copy. Number of copies, 2. And the second one needs to be way smaller. Let's have a look. Hope you can notice it. Just scaling it a little bit so it's peeking right through. Okay. Going to the solver, initialize all, start. Yeah. Nice. Going to the render section. Going to remove this one. So delete. So now it's only showing up in the dynamic text. Start. Yes. You see that it's now reacting based on this gravitational acceleration. In our example, we had this going around and around like a dry washer. And what we can do, we can just animate this gravitational acceleration. And we can use a pattern. Let's see. A circle animation is basically using a sine for the x and a cosine for the y. So I'm going to copy this one, call this one cosine. If you're not sure if it's turning up correctly, then you can always use a box and a geometry component. Put this one somewhere off center, somewhere here. And if you put these patterns into the transform of this geometry component, so op pattern 1, first channel, pattern 2 for the Y, so you see that it's sort of working, but the range has to be a bit higher, I think, because this one is just going from 1 to -1, and I think we can crank it up a bit. So we just use, let's see, we need minus values for the bullet solver to react, so it's going to pull. So we'll just make it 10. Let's see. -1 to 1, 0 to -10. Same here. -10. I'm going to increase the number of cycles a little bit. See, now it's rotating. Okay, we'll see how this is looking if we put this one in the gravitational acceleration. So up pattern 1, first channel, up pattern 2, first channel, let's see if it's reacting correctly. Not quite yet. I think we can adjust the range. Let's see if I try -5 and +5. Yeah, it's looking more like it. Is this one changing along? No, this one has to be -5, +5. Yeah. Yeah, that looks way better. So initialize, start. You see that it's immediately pulled up in the right direction. But it would be more fun if we just have some kind of switch where it drops down first and then it's going to go round and round. So I think I'm just going to make a simple switch with a button and a script. Job execute. It's looking at the out one of the button. So button 1, out 1. Okay. On to off. So first I need to start the simulation. What is this called? Start. Okay. Op B solver 1 bar start pulse. Okay. Initialize. Set this one to momentary. Yeah, okay, that's working. Now I want a second reaction. And I think I'm going to put this one in constant mode first and just set this one to -10. So if we push this one, just dropping down. Okay. I'm going to put these two into expression mode after a couple of frames. So if I put a script besides this one, I can run this script with a slightly delay. So call this one a script. And I'm going to put this one into expression mode. So X and gravity Y. So it starts at constant mode, so op b solver 1 part of gravity x dot mode is par mode dot expression. Let's see if it's working correctly. Run. Oh, yeah, it puts it in expression mode. Okay. Yeah. So the same thing for Y. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, gravity Y mode. I'm going to run this script with a slight delay. Run delay frames is, let's say, 80. Okay. So the solver is in constant mode. Let's see, initialize. Push the button, it falls down, and then it starts rotating. I think it would be fun if we also have some kind of reset button. See how much time is left. Yeah, we'll just build that one as well. So I think I'm just going to put another job execute momentary button. Give this one a name. Reset. Call this one start. This one looks at button 2 out 1 onto off. Let's see. Op b solver 1 bar dot gravity x mode equals par mode dot constant. The same thing for the y. Gravity y mode. See, gravity y mode. Yeah. Okay. Also this one to initialize sim init all. Op b solver 1 bar init all pulse. Okay, so the reset button is working, start button as well, and after a couple of frames it starts rotating. Reset. So the fun thing is that if we go to the, well, let's delete that one. If you go to the field in here, you can basically just fill in something different. I don't know, test, text, fun. Run it, so there it pops up. You might have to adjust this slightly. Let's see. Maybe a bit higher. Maybe the font size a little bit bigger. I don't know, just play with it. Up a level. Pressing reset first, because then it's going to initialize the solver again. So if I press start now, this one is working as well. So this is the basic setup for making a dynamic text input and let the characters collide with a static actor. Could be anything. I just made this washing label for having this rotation effect. But this is the basic setup with the replicator. I'm using this a lot. We also have a tool available at our Patreon where you can draw your collision shapes by dragging over an image. If you're interested, go have a look. There was also an explanation video on our channel. I think I'm going to put a link in the description. And before I forget, if you're interested in a couple of our text animations, just have a look at our Instagram @daily.typo. And if you spot one text animation you're really interested in how I've built this one in Touchdesigner, just leave a comment. And if the demand is great enough, I might dedicate a tutorial on that animation. So thank you for watching, and we'll catch up next time.